Hi, I'm gonna do like a laid back general energies reading for you guys. I'm just gonna go through a few decks of cards to set up first. I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, oops. Oh my gosh. I didn't intend to drop all those cards at once, but I just feel like my hand did it, so I'll let it stay. I'll do the Hermetic Tarot. And that's nice. I can hear the church bells. I guess it's noon right now. But my phone says 11:58, so I guess it's early. I guess the church is analog. Okay. These cards feel really thick, so maybe they want me to use a different deck. All right. Do something from Rumi. I feel like there's like some like wistful kind of sadness coming out. We had that same card yesterday. Oops. Oh my god. Okay. Me? I'll do one well-being card and then I'm good. Because we have a lot of cards here. I was planning on doing a shorter reading, but we shall see. What? Okay, was this one was the original one? No, I'll just leave those for it. Okay. Okay. Bossy cards. All right, here we go. Wow. So we have the Shaman of Swords and Judgment. I feel like right now the energies are like you work. I'm gonna say you, but it's like whoever's not watching. You're working together with people, and then like right now everything's like different, and we've been forced into like different situations. It's like this ladder. We're having to be like in a completely different place in our lives, in our minds, like to function even. And so there's like some working together that we've had to do, which is like new and unusual to just make stuff happen to survive really. And like maybe you might have been like more shy, more isolated, or but now you're like really forced into like working together, and it's like creating this sort of different coloration to your daily life, and you're having to speak out, express yourself in this environment of all these other energies, and it's a bit new for you, I feel like. And there's when you speak out, it has like a cause and effect, like these spirals coming off the flower, I feel like are people's sort of reactions or like their mental threads where they go, where what you say leads them to do or think. And you realize like that you actually have more power, effectiveness and stuff like than you thought before. And it might be like a bit surprising, like how much your words affect other people, how speaking something into existence is like creating. Okay. like it's like a form of magic, like speaking something into truth, you know? And it's like you're doing this, it's kind of a new thing for you, like realizing like the power of your words. Um, and it's, I feel like it's allowing you, excuse me, to dig yourself out of this like hole that was, that you felt you could never rise above. Like there might have been some despair that you went through. But now you're finding that like working together and speaking out is the only option, and it's sort of like this path to freedom, like a new way of life. It's like you've adopted a whole new side of yourself that you didn't even know that you had, that is bringing you to like another level, and it's like completely outside of like who you thought you were. And with this like truth telling by like everybody around you, like it's like these different colors are like different people's opinions and stuff. So everybody being in their truth at once is sort of creating this rainbow effect over the earth. And it can't just be, it can't just be like one voice. Like it has to be everybody in their authenticity together at once to create this like multicolored kind of justice feeling. Okay, so that's kind of beautiful. It's like people coming together. Sorry, my like my hand looks super huge when I do that. Yeah, so don't be afraid of being this new person who is outspoken. Not outspoken in the sense of being rude or overstepping it or anything, but it's like your voice is important too. It's not just other people. We're equal, and we're all needed at once to express our truth in our own way, which has a different vibration. Like every soul has its own kind of music, its own signature energy, and together forms a symphony, right? So now we're like stepping up to the plate, and like our voice is heard and is joining in this symphony. Okay. Then we have the Seven of Cups. I know usually this okay, the on in this deck it's called Lord of Illusionary Success. In this depiction, none of the cups are full of like overspilling liquid. Like there's flowers like looking into the cups rather. So it's more like a curiosity about like what can I do, this, that, or the other thing, like what. So there's a, I feel like there's a sort of a feeling of lack right now, and like examining different options. Um like shall I invest in this cup, in that, in this person, this venture? And I also feel that like this hand that's holding the stems here makes me feel like you feel like somebody else has more control than you over your options. But if you think of that aspect of control as not being like another human being, but of spirit, and that spirit loves you and will guide you if you will listen, if you'll like look for signs, and like let's say you give all your burdens up to God and say like you solve it because like it's too big for me. Like if I don't know the answer, then God must know the answer. So I give it over to God um, to solve it for me, and I'll be open and alert to like the cues to know what my role in like going along with that plan is, right? So you have to like see things differently. You have to be unafraid to sort of flip your view on control, or like if you've been thinking like, oh, other people have more than me, or I don't have control over my life, like have faith that everything is in divine order, and that if you are like connecting with what you find is beautiful in your imagination, what you cherish, if you connect with that and you accept that as like a reality in your life, instead of just going from cup to cup, going like, what am I missing out on? If you feel already fulfilled, even if you don't have the outside uh, confirmation of that, if you nurture that feeling of like having total satisfaction in all areas of your life and being grateful for that, then you move forward in your life walking towards that. Like your world will start reflecting your point of view, and suddenly you won't be feeling like, oh, somebody else is in control, and like, what am I missing out on a human level, because like the people that do really cool stuff in the world are visionary, they have faith, they carry this like inner light guiding them through darkness and stuff. So you could see just like your everyday life as this sort of, not to be too gloomy, but like this dark corridor that you're like your spirit guides you through, and because you have faith and a positive outlook, it's going to cause your actions to be like helpful, so that it one step at a time like guides you to happiness. But it's like you have to have that faith, so that you're not in despair, just going like, oh, I'm missing out, like other people are controlling stuff. It's like, if you're not in control of your own heart and your own thoughts, then yeah, you are handing it over to somebody else to grasp. But if you're totally taking charge of like enjoying and loving like your inner world, no one can take that from you. No one has power over that except you. And the more that you validate those like beautiful thoughts you have, or let's say you're like imagining a dream home or like a really positive relationship, just to accept that as true and look forward to receiving it, instead of focusing on what you thought you wanted, or what you think other people think you need, or like all that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna get into bunch of these cards. So we have 10 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Cups, 8 of Cups, High Priestess, 5 of Wands upside down, Empress, Strength, and Magician. Wow. Okay. It's like a lot. So you've been going through this phase of taking on too many burdens, like your own passions, like not knowing which direction to go in, and like just making it seem like every step in your life is like super hard because you're like taking on too much at once. And that has come to an end, and there's a like spirit has been like, this has got to change. I'm going to change it myself, since you're not going to. And that's brought about like a brand new sort of heartfelt overflowing beginning. And you're walking away from all these trials that like you spent so much time on, but that like didn't really come to much. They aren't overflowing cups. It's a dry riverbed. And you're just like, okay, I'm out. Like, there's no point in toiling over these projects or these relationships, or this relationship that took like up a certain amount of time, like maybe that amount of time has to do with the number 8. But that's amazing that Spirit stepped in, is changing things, and that there's this like brand new beginning that you're going after now. And maybe it's with someone who's very spiritual and calm and has this sort of inner magic. Maybe this is your energy now, where you've gone inward and you now accept your power to perceive, to direct your own life, to work, to understand, and like sit in the middle of all the energies calmly and make inspired decisions. Because now there's an end to fighting with people. It's like fruitless. You see that there's no wisdom in carrying on like that. Like, humans are, nice. Like we live together, but we can't get all our cues like from human pressure all the time. Like it's our job to stay connected and to like always balance the energies, or at least be aware of them, like be aware of the opposite energies at play, sort of sit in the middle calmly and direct our lives from like an inspired place, instead of always being caught up like battling with other people's passions and directions and stuff. So that's just come to an end after we got into this like energy, and now it's like we're sitting pretty, like really owning and at a like extreme comfort level with a strong energy, like connected with things and feeling fertile and ready to create in our lives from like a very confident perspective, because we've gone up to the things that we're afraid of and just looked them in the mouth. It's like we've gone up to the lion and looked in its mouth, and it's like it's not that scary, really. Like it's like I know for me, like in the past, like sometimes it took a long time for me to like get over some big event, like either like some major breakup or like a death in the family or whatever. And you can feel kind of frozen or like fearful of dealing with something big, that you thought was scary. But then in actual fact, when you approach it, it's like, no, just do like follow through, just do A, B, C, and it's done. I was like, don't have to like put so much behind it. It's really like the Wizard of Oz, where you pull the curtain aside, and like at first you think the wizard is like guiding and controlling you, but in actual fact it's just like one man's opinion, or what, and that you have all this power inside of you to like do what you want, or like in the case of the Wizard of Oz, it's like it was always up to Dorothy just to say like there's no place like home and go back to it. So it's don't be well, anyway, because this strength card is upright, it means like we have the strength now to confront these things and be unafraid, to kind of tame the lion, because we're wearing this sort of crown of infinity. It's like this connection with source has like given us the wisdom to just be balanced and accept information, accept a task, and just to like move through it like it's totally normal. And we're also in this energy of like being able to now bring our dreams into the world, like living like heaven on earth, where we say like, yes, I accept what I see in my mind as real, and I invite it into my daily life. It's like bringing heaven to earth by this gesture. And it's creating, it has like the earthly, like it has like the pentacle, the cup, the flowering earth, and it's got the sword and the wand. Like everything is on the table, as it were. Like, so everything is like coming into being by doing this. So it's really, like I say in every reading, it's really about like accepting your spiritual connection, letting it communicate to you so that you can make cool decisions based on whatever's going on, even if they seem extremely like at odds. There's always a path. There's always like a cool thing to do. I'm just gonna read that comment. You can ask a question. I'll see if I can get to it. So then we have the cloak of Christ. I'll just look that up for a quick second. If you missed a lot of this reading, like it'll be posted later, so you can see it then. Oops. In the school of humanity, when you become intimate with God, you reside on the king's throne and teach the angels the nature of the divine. Okay. I don't know if I'm in like 100% agreement with that statement, but for the sake of the reading, I guess like when you're accepting like spirit as part of you, as guiding you, then you're able to like speak about that experience and live through that experience, and so that gives you elements of the divine. It's a better way of living for sure. I think saying the cloak of Christ is like going a little bit far, but because we're all individuals, and like Jesus Christ is a particular individual that is not everybody. But it's like we're taking the cues of Christ by like following the word, by like living this way, which then allows you to speak with some, if it's inspired, like if you really feel a connection, then you have this like connection and some sort of authority in terms of like confidence about how to lead your life in a good way. I'm just gonna say that much. I'll just like, okay, I'll just like, I read your question, and as I read the cards, I'll like let any messages drop in and I'll see what I get. 33. All right, this came upside down. The logical mind runs away from drowning. Lovers accept drowning in the sea as their destiny. The logical mind finds consolation in reaching a level of comfort in life. Lovers are focused beyond their own comfort. Right. So because this card is upside down, it's like maybe you have a resistance to like fully blending with spirit and allowing that to guide you. Like they're saying that like when lovers fall in love, they're just full of faith and it guides them, and they don't use their intellect as much, because the sensation of love is not intellectual, it's like heart-based and spiritual. And so people gladly fall in love, and you can sort of think of like love as like the ocean or something. But because it's upside down in this case, it's like maybe you have a hesitancy to fall in love and like really allow that like inspired um, enveloping feeling to take hold. Okay. Okay, I'll answer your question. Like, I feel like Don Trell in this case respects you and thinks you're really wise. You know, I think you maybe have like an agenda, let's say, like, or a strong wish for things to work out, but that's not allowing for like just things to unfold naturally. So what I would do, like if you love somebody, you wish them freedom. Like I just heard from an old friend last night, and it was someone like we had cut contact a while ago, and he had complete freedom to like not talk to me if he didn't want to. But the fact is he had the freedom, and then he did want to talk to me and say nice things. So like that's a lot sweeter than putting pressure on someone or examining them like very closely to see if they're complying with like your wish to have a relationship. So if you can embrace the quality of like sending this person love, which is also freedom, like you would want the same thing. Like if someone really loved you, you would want them to let you make your own choices, but that you choose to be with them. So you need to treat him in the same way, where you give him time to like mature or like figure his stuff out. And if he continues to see you as someone who's like loving and kind and sort of there for them, that's like an irresistible trait. And so sometimes people can come and go a little bit, but they always come back to what is good and what is real. So I would just really love and admire yourself and your good traits, and that will attract like various wonderful friendships. And then among those, and maybe him will come back to you and say like, there's no one like you, and like these qualities you have are so beautiful, and I don't want to live without them. But you may have to be a little bit patient, like 2 months or so, to just allow that freedom and allow that process to take place of them figuring out what they want. So I guess that's my answer to. Yeah, so I think like sometimes silence is like really healing. If you like telling somebody off is like being controlling. So like what I was saying before is like not to be controlling and not to exert yourself too much in their life, but just to like have faith in them, have faith in yourself, and like as people say, like have a glow up in terms of just loving yourself and backing off of like controlling behavior, and that goodness and love that they will feel. Like I wouldn't sweat it too much about like having one outburst if like the rest of what you experienced with this person was good. And if they see that you've like sort of shifted gears and like living well and stuff, and being kind to people, and having faith that like either this person or someone else who's wonderful will come into your life. Like I do feel that this person won't just forget about you, and that they just need some time to themselves to feel like they're not having to defend themselves from like words coming at them or pressure to do this or that. Like falling in love is like a choice made out from freedom. And if they don't have that sense of freedom, they're not gonna be able to even be in that mental space of falling in love. So let yeah, just love yourself and feel that like within yourself you have the ideal man that's like always living and protecting you like within you, and however that shows up in life, fine. But like don't go around don't go around like a beggar getting mad at people for not giving you what you want, because that's not an attractive quality. So I would just say like give yourself 2 months to be like, okay, I'm gonna today, like one day at a time, like I'm gonna balance my emotions. I know that my long-term goal is for people to like me and find me attractive. Therefore, I'm not gonna like go around freaking people out. Like, I'm not gonna be demanding, and I'm gonna love myself so that that seems like an appealing environment for people to be like in and close to, and that I'm a safe person for them to fall in love with. So it's like a little bit of homework, but it'll be really fun because you're gonna be happier in the end. And relationships, I feel for you will be like effortless and beautiful after that. Okay, I can't spend the whole reading on your question, but I hope that you found um, any of that helpful. Okay, so then we have the whirling goddess. But if you do feel that like he's controlling, it's because he wants some. He needs time to grow up. Like maybe you're ahead of the game, but like allow him that time to figure himself out without too much pressure. If meanwhile you're gonna be happy. Okay. So, and it's important not to focus too heavily on like one individual. Like focus on your love, your own inner love, where you feel complete already inside you, and then that will reflect out in situations in your life, whether with him or somebody else. It's like even more appropriate. Okay. Whirling goddess. Okay, lose your head. Not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of a needle. Yeah, so it's like don't overthink, because like miracles, like real transformation can only happen when you have like very strong faith that it can come in, and that will seem illogical. Like some people don't believe in miracles. Some people believe miracles happen constantly. And it's like, what kind of headspace are you in to allow that? You have to sort of put your intellect to sleep and allow miracle energy, which is like a quantum kind of universal energy that can immediately solve problems, to come in. Okay, and then we have the dance of the divine feminine. If a tree could move from one place to another, it would not suffer the pain of the saw or the oppressive winds. If the sun and the moon stood still like the rocks, they could not offer brilliance. How bitter the taste the water would be if the river stopped its flow, remaining still like seawater. When the seawater rises to become a cloud, it loses its bitterness and pours the rain of sweetness. I've given you only a few examples. You can figure out the rest. Break away from the self and enter the kingdom of love. Yeah, exactly like what we were just talking about with not being too heavily intellectual, allowing for miracle energy to come in, like transformative energy that can turn like a yucky situation into something unspeakably beautiful. But it's like we have to have the faith that that can even happen. But if we're constantly like overthinking, being overlooking a situation constantly and critiquing it, that's not the energy of like love. That's not the energy of God. Like it's we have to like allow for energy to come in and like heal things, behind our back, essentially. light. Okay, and then we have resplendent with grace, 24. Greetings from my heart. You are always with me, hidden inside as the heart. You're the compass of my life. My course is your way no matter where I go. You exist everywhere and in everything, always watching over us. My soul brightens in the darkness when I speak your name. Far beyond the body, there's an opening from my heart into yours. Through that opening, I send you secret messages like the moonlight. I polish the mirror of my heart to be your reflection. I make my ear the receiver for the tenderness of your words. You are in the ear, you're in the mind, you're in every burning heart. What am I saying? You are I. This is my way to describe you. So this is like God's talking to you and saying, like, you know, you're beautiful, you're everything. Like, don't you see how I see you? If you could, then you wouldn't feel in despair, you wouldn't feel the need to control. You would allow my energy to come in and just transform your life, like magically, you know, if you can just let go of some of the, I mean, the intellect is useful at work and stuff, but it's not useful in terms of love, and it's not useful in terms of being inspired and knowing your true direction. So you really have to balance this. You have to quiet the intellect sometimes to really feel the intense love that like is yours. That is, it's like you're blind to how loved you are, you know. So you have to take a moment to just say, like, you know, I accept that I'm like amazing and loved so much by God, and that, like, you know, the world is abundant. It's just like I have to just tune into that and accept it, and maybe it'll come in forms that I didn't anticipate, in people that I never thought I would meet, you know, instead of just struggling with sort of people that are in your life. It's like you just always open yourself to what spirit wants to send you, and trust that, because like controlling is just like devil energy, fear energy, and no decision made from fear is like a good decision. Okay, from what I can tell, beyond the threshold of fear is 25. Okay. Enter the lion's jungle. Don't think about getting hurt. Fearful thoughts are phantoms of the mind. No one is harmed in this jungle. Everything is compassion and love. It's your fear holding you back like a bar behind the door. It's actually amazing, I think, like when you realize like how much you yourself are the one holding yourself back. And you don't have to beat yourself up about it, but you just have to kind of stop doing that and allow this kind of beautiful light to come in. And sure, it might throw a question on everything that's like happening presently in your life, but like if a redo is necessary, maybe it'll make you feel so much better. Like, it's people resist change. You know, friends and family can resist you changing, but you have to constantly be open to that flow. And like that other card said, like, you can't remain stagnant. You have to like allow life to keep rushing at you, and like love to keep rushing at you, and to feel comfort level with that, and to not be scared of facing whatever comes up, because usually we learn something from it, we become stronger, and it completely changes our perception of that thing that like we had some fixed idea about. So then we have a surge on the uprising wave of love. My life can be summed up in 3 accounts. I was raw, I was cooked, and I was burned. What? Okay. I'm just reading a little bit more. Okay, I'm just gonna look at the image. Okay, so I feel like I was saying before, like you've been living in these certain patterns, feeling like you're on sort of a direct line to something, and that maybe you didn't have like great control over where you were going. But if you kind of just see like where you were going is just like one wave that's crashing, and you don't necessarily have to like surf through that green room, you know, you can let that sort of settle down and like take the next one, or just enjoy floating on the ocean in the moonlight. You know, you don't have to get caught up in like whatever has been churning already, like right now in your life. You can just sort of like let those energies kind of disperse. We don't have to be reactive, is what I'm saying. Like if you give like your power over to, it's like that card of like people fighting. I'm gonna find that. It's the last one, of course. So it's like you don't want to get caught up in the tunnel of this wave that maybe these people like started, and like you feel like you're in the middle of. You can just kind of like let things settle down. Like eventually people are going to put their sticks down and walk away. You can just sort of observe the energies, you know, just like this, just like the high priestess. Observe the energies. Yeah, there's some stuff going on that's a bit like out of hand, but you can always be this calm person. You can always just sit and observe. And then once you're not reactive and you still keep your own intuition intact, then you have direction, and you're like sitting on the throne of your confidence and your lack of fear, because you're not afraid to like look anything directly in the eye and just sort of say like, what is this? You know, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm gonna just like be observant and trust, like have faith that I can deal with any situation. You know, I'm unafraid to walk away from something I've spent like a lot of time on, or a lot of people that I've put a lot of effort into that isn't really like panning out. Because now I've decided to like drop all these burdens for like a brand new, wonderful start that's like heaven sent. And because I'm in touch with my intuition, I can bring things, I can manifest those dreams I have into my reality by staying focused on them. You know, putting my energy towards them, so that then the things that I create come from that, as opposed to feeling caught up and like getting burned like in this continuous cycle, you know. So it's like it's on us to sort of approach energy and situations differently. And being brave isn't necessarily like, doesn't require a lot of strength. It requires faith. And even if you have a teeny tiny bit of faith, that's better than nothing. And then that faith can grow if you find that like it's working out for you. Like if you spend just one day having faith in your dreams, and then you take note like after that day, like how were things different? And then if that confirms that having faith is a good thing for you, then you'll spend more and more days like that. And then you'll find that you're creating your dreams. And you're becoming someone, you're still yourself, but like you're like the best version of yourself. Just like, okay, thanks. Thanks for thanking me for taking the time to answer your question. And I guess that's it. And if you missed part of the reading, you can like rewind and see it again. But I hope you guys have faith to, yeah, and I'll just go back to these original two cards. It's like right now we're in the this situation where we're like working together more with people and finding our voice that's like blending. Like everybody has their voice, and it's like getting into your authenticity, which will like bring you out of this kind of hole you felt like you were in before. And not feeling like other people have control over your life. See this control aspect as God working with you, like source energy being the one who is like making cool decisions for you, and that like sometimes that means certain options or people are not favorable, you know, like be comfortable with however it works out, like as long as you have faith that you are loved and supported, and that like God only wants the absolute best for you. If you accept that, if you accept the absolute best, that means you have to be flexible to receive maybe something you didn't anticipate, and to not be fearful about looking at that, I guess. Anyway, I hope this was of some value to you. I hope you guys have a really great day, and I hope to see you again soon.